This video is to demonstrate how we're going to do the 3-month probing as a follow-up to the original probing done for the research patients. So here we are looking at the software after it's just started up. It's giving us a list of our patient lookup, and we can see that for patient number 1, we've already recorded their visit. So you can see here that they actually have 2 visits. They have the original baseline, and then 3 months later we've now added the second chart. So we have patient number 2 that's come into the office today to get their 3-month follow-up chart. And so to select them from the list, we could just double click them directly here from the list, or once they're selected you could just click the OK button. So it's going to bring up the patient. For this patient, we see that tooth 9 is the one that we're going to be recording. And to start the actual charting visit, we're going to click on the periodontal page tab. So it always gives us a choice to come in and view or look at the original chart, or to go ahead and create a new chart. So we're going to go ahead and create the new visit today by clicking on that button with the mouse. It pops up a review of the visit settings that should be set automatically to these choices. So you should be having recession turned on at 6 points. We are going to record the pocket depth, of course, at all 6 points. But if you'll notice, all the other checkboxes are turned off to make sure that we're only going to be recording those things. And today, again, we're going to actually be recording 6 different numbers. We're going to take recession on the facial side 3 times. We're going to record the pocket depth on the facial side 3 times. And then we're also going to record mucogingival junction at 3 places. And we are going to store that information on the lingual side, but we're actually going to record it, of course, on the facial side. Today's date's automatically there, brought in from the computer, so if that's wrong, you need to adjust the date and time based on your actual computer settings. And the examiner name as the default is set up. If this needs to be adjusted to somebody else, you can click the drop down and select the correct person. To begin the visit, I would click the OK button here, and it's going to show you the calibration step. If you're not already gloved up, this is the point that you can run everything from the foot switch from this point forward, so you should go ahead and glove up at this point. I have my handpiece that has come out of the sterilizer, and so it should have the tip protector placed on it. You'll notice that it should be steam sterilized between every patient and ready to go. I just removed the tip protector and I get ready here to calibrate against this flat sterile surface. Notice also that before I put the handpiece on, I just point the tip at the ceiling and I point it at the floor, and I know that the arms automatically come fully apart or fully together, so that just means that the tip is running smooth, the tip is not bent, and there hasn't been any sticky residue or anything happening in the background with the steam sterilization process. So this just proves that the handpiece is running properly. I go ahead and screw on the handpiece now. I make sure to hold the slip ring so that I can go ahead and tighten that down very tight. Once it's tight, the slip ring will let me go ahead and pivot the cable in any direction that I feel is best for me. Here we are, we're still at the calibration screen. I'm going to have my foot on the center foot switch, and I just here, for the sake of the computer, I'm going to find a nice flat spot on the tip protector, bring it down, and tap the center pedal once. That marks the 0 reading of the probe, and I bring it all the way up, and if you notice now it's reading at 10.6. I tap the center pedal a second time to let it know the other extreme of this particular handpiece. It's asking us, do we want to update missing teeth, yes or no? I already have the correct missing tooth, which is all of the other teeth marked except for tooth 9 marked. And so update missing teeth, the answer to that question is no. I get the right foot switch.
Recession.
It does start us in recession. If you want to double check that your handpiece is reading correctly though before we start, and so here I am still using my sterilized tip protector. If you notice there, the green area at the bottom of the program shows you the status bar. This is reading the probe to the nearest 0.2 of a millimeter at all times, and so I can just bring this against a nice flat surface, and if you notice, that comes all the way down to 0.0. If I'm holding the handpiece a little bit off kilter or not directly flat, you'll notice that it can show 0.2, and that just shows you that you're not perfectly angled straight up and down. So if you want to actually measure 3 measurements, the back of your tip protector is marked with a 3, 6, and 9 stair-step measurement. And so if you put the tip on the top of the first stair and bring the sleeve down to the top, it measures 3.0. Again, if you're kind of a little bit off angle, you'll notice maybe a 3.2. And so to have it straight up and down is obviously 3.0. You move it over to the next step. Obviously, it's hitting the one marked 6 millimeters. And if you notice there at the bottom of the screen, it now says 6.0. I bring it over to the third step, and of course you can actually measure a 9.0 as well. So that just allows you to show that you are actually measuring 3, 6, and 9 millimeter marks on a calibrated tool here on the back of your tip protector. Now the patient's here, and so we're ready to go ahead and probe them. I'm going to represent the patient here with this typodont, and it allows me to go ahead and do the recession. So I'm going to insert the probe at the mesial site here, and I'm going to probe recession by tapping the foot switch once on the center pedal to record the gingival margin. I slide the sleeve up to the CEJ and now mark
3.
The recession. So the first one is a 3. The second one, I go ahead and tap the center pedal once at the gingival margin, slide the sleeve up to the CEJ.
3.
The first one is recession. Second one is
3.
CEJ. Now for the lingual surface, I'm going to go ahead and not have the probe in the mouth, so it's not, if you notice at the bottom of the screen it says 10.6. So I'm just going to tap the center pedal 3 times, and that's going to go ahead and mark 3 zeros there to just skip the lingual surface. Here we are marking now obviously the pocket depth, and so again I'm going to insert the probe into the gingival margin there on the mesial there of 9. I tap the pedal once.
3.
I bring it over to the second site, the central site there, the straight buckle.
3.
And now on the third site, which is obviously here measuring the distal there.
5.
Now, this is where we're going to actually, the next measurement is going to be for a mucogingival junction. We are just using the lingual surface and the pocket depth to represent or be a placeholder for those 3 measurements. So if you're using your mouth mirror as your stopping point, where you can see the die there obviously, so I have this in and I'm using the mouth mirror. I bring my probe in, I bring the sleeve down to where I can see the top of the die, and obviously I'm going to mark the next 3 numbers as our mucogingival junction. So this is obviously my distal,
4.
my straight,
3.
and my mesial.
3.
So now I'm done. I've recorded the 9 numbers that I needed. I go ahead and put my probe down, and if I tap the center pedal one more time without the probe depressed,
data collection complete.
it will allow me to have the computer verify that we're ready to save and print. So I say yes by tapping the yes pedal on the left, and now it's going to save and print. It pops up a list of all the choices, and I happen to have create digital copy for the numerical chart chosen. And if you notice up here, I also have the PDF as the type. Here's the actual format for the folder, and I had previously selected this location to store those PDF copies of the numerical printout. So I go ahead and click print, select documents, or you can tap the foot switch if you're still gloved up and want to tap the foot switch.
Arch. You are in the moving mode.
It puts you back into what we call the moving mode, so if you want to view that and look at that, you can. Let's do that real quick by just clicking on the history button, or you can double click the tooth with the mouse, either one. So I'm going to click the history button, and you'll notice that the tooth history comes up. Here we can actually see that from the February 11th exam it was 5.4, and now today's exam was 2.6, 6.6, 2.6, 5.4, 4.8. The change here in recession. On the right hand side, it's just showing us a change in the combination of recession plus pocket depth to show us the change in clinical attachment levels. The second line there is more dotted or more faded, and therefore it's the older of the 2 lines. It will record up to 6 visits total and be able to display that here, and the example here where we're going to show the overlay will actually show you the last 3 visits. So obviously today was the second chart. We only have 2 charts in here. If I actually want to email or print this out, you may do that by simply clicking these buttons. To get this screen to go away, we just close that, and now we're back here. If our patient number 3 shows up, obviously we would just go ahead and we would click the patient lookup screen, and now you can see that both the first patient and the second patient both have 2 charts. And as our third patient comes in today, you can see that this would be the next patient we would select, and we would obviously just continue down the list to do all of the 3-month probings for our patients. All right, thank you.